this opportunity to share with you. I'm really excited to be here. Please pray for me. And thank you, Gary, for sharing. That's really wonderful. I just want to share a little bit about myself and more of my story, and just how sort of my story and my faith, integration of that. I want to invite you to think about a few questions as I share, and questions of identity. And I'll answer those questions myself. Who am I? Who am I for? And the question of calling. And I've gotten this from Marshall Gans at the Kennedy School. I've taken a few of his classes, and sort of these simple questions that really get you to sort of consider where you're coming from, and where you're going, and then what your calling is while you're here on this earth. For me, to answer the question of self, I'm a Christian, believer in Jesus Christ. I've called Jesus the Lord of my life. I think at a young age, I gave my life to Jesus. I know some of us here are coming from different backgrounds and different faith tradition. So please ask the questions to friends around and myself if anything is confusing. My name is Samuel. My mom recently reminded me that means instructed of God, or if you know the story of one who listens to God, so she tells me all the time, listen to God. I'm a Nigerian, born immigrant here. I'm the oldest of 6 children. I'm also a son of pastors and missionaries, which I'll share a little more about. So they say PK, MK. And in 2008 became a U.S. citizen. So who am I for? Who's my community? Well, I'm trained as an architect in design. I'm a U.S. Marine, not currently serving, but I served in the Marine Corps for 6 years. Graduate of the Harvard Education School here. Attend Hope Fellowship Church here in Cambridge, Porter Square. Really been blessed to be a part of the Christian community here at Harvard. Have a great opportunity to make friends with international students, people from all over the world. My heart is there. And currently working at the Ed School. Thinking about calling, and what I'm sharing now about identity not only plays out, I don't know it for the rest of my life, but there are different seasons in our lives, and I invite you to always sort of reflect on that and think about that. Calling. I would love to someday have a family that loves God, a Christ-centered family, looking for opportunity in leadership and education and government in the future. And then I think most importantly is to encourage people, invite people to think about Jesus, to point people to Jesus through my work, through my life, through my studies and relationship with others. Next, I want to share a video that a friend at the Ed School created about this was one of the first ones about education school students and their lives, and it'll give you basically an overview and understanding of my life. So,
oh, an error has occurred. Do you have it?
We can stream it on the phone and all sit real close.
There's no internet connection here.
Well, there is though. Yeah, there is.
Oh, there is? That's very, very small.
The Harvard Graduate School of
This is not the ground.
The Harvard Graduate School of Education, working at the nexus of practice, policy, and research.
you don't start the same.
This is not the right one.
This think tank on global education and the purpose of education is part of an interfaculty initiative at the university.
Seasons.
The Harvard Graduate School of Education, working at the nexus of practice, policy, and research.
Oftentimes I walk through Harvard Square and I make sure that I don't lose that excitement and zeal for the fact that I'm here. My name is Samuel Odama, not Obama. I remember just many years dreaming about coming here. Ever since our family moved to the U.S. and I heard about a place called Harvard, I'd always wanted to come and to be able to study in this place. And it took a long road to get here, but I got here. I was born in Nigeria, right here in West Africa, in Benin City, Nigeria. And our family moved up to the U.S., to Oklahoma City. Let's come down. Oklahoma City, 1991, and then moved south to Dallas in 1995. Finishing high school, I wanted to look for options to help to pay for school, and I thought joining the Marine Corps would be a great opportunity, a great experience for me. So I spoke with my family about it, and we decided it was an okay thing to do. A few years into my sophomore year, I was called up with my Marine unit from Texas, and we were attached to a unit from California and went to Iraq for almost for a year's deployment. Met with people from all walks of lives and locals in the area, and got to really understand more about the world. This rug here was a gift for Christmas while we were stationed in Iraq. So I've always carried this with me everywhere I go to do different schools that I've been at, and put it on the wall as a remembrance of where I was then and where I am now. After my time in the Marine Corps, I went to college in Texas, studied architecture in Wisconsin, and then now I have the opportunity to learn something different in education, and looking at how to address social issues and social reform, education reforms using my background in architecture. At the Ed School, I found some of the most passionate and caring people. I feel we at the Ed School and a lot of people I met at the Ed School have this desire to change the world. It's really a place where people are passionate and care about the next generation.
So that's a 3-minute perspective of sort of my story, and I got the opportunity to share that with my school and some friends. So I wanted to sort of continue in this idea of calling and share just about my family. I didn't just put the PowerPoint right after work, so no pictures. So I did bring things you can come check out after, and maybe pass something about my work. This is my portfolio as an architect, and you'll find family here. So just have text there so you can sort of follow along with me. I'm going to start and share about my family. A calling to go. This is a story of faith, hope, courage. My father and his father came from a small town or area in Nigeria where my father was considered sort of a chief or a king, and in that area. And my father was the child of one of the many wives of this king of a small village in Nigeria, and he always had a heart for education. Life was not easy despite the coming royal family. He tried to go to school in the United States. That didn't work. He was discouraged after at one moment when he was highway robbers. He was robbed and his documents taken, and that discouraged him. So he never came to the U.S. But again, as I speak, I want to sort of call back to God. It's everything that happens in our lives. It's not for an accident, and there's a purpose. And so he decided to stay in the U.S. and go to College of Education there in Nigeria, where he met my mom. My mom grew up in a very good Catholic home. She was a good Catholic girl, and went to church all the time, mass, didn't do anything wrong in that sense. Her mother was a hardworking businesswoman, and God used her later to give her sort of her savings for our family to move over to the United States. And my mom, although a strong believer or Catholic girl, did everything right. She felt that she still did not have that relationship with God. And on her way to college, where she would meet my dad, someone told her about personal relationship with Jesus Christ, and encouraged her, invited her to look more into the Bible and actually read the Bible for herself. And she believed that that day on the way to college, that's when her life changed. So they met at College of Education in what we call Scripture Union, or something here like InterVarsity on campus there. She was not intending to marry after she fell in love with Jesus and her faith. She wanted to be a missionary and go all over the world and not marry. As you can see now, she's the mother of 6 children, so sense of humor. But the Lord told her to marry my father, and that was the few years working as the educators in Nigeria, and they started to feel a calling to come to America. And I have there in the slide, I remember my parents that pray a lot. There's a family that prays together stays together, and that's sort of the tradition that we had. Despite the challenges, the circumstances, we always found time in the morning or in the evening to pray together. And they felt a calling to come to America. And my mom would always pray, God is sending us and will take us to a land flowing with milk and honey, a land of prosperity. And so therefore, we began to pray about that and started to move towards that. So moving on, my parents were able to pursue that opportunity, but it was not easy getting here. Always in life you'll face unexpected challenges and things that you would never plan for. In our case, they were able to go to America, prepare the place for the children, and then my mom courageously came back to come pick us up, all 5 of us up. And that wasn't an easy task. It was a few days turned into weeks, turned into months, and every day would come back from the embassy to get a visa. And I learned prayer there because my mom would get back on her knees and cry out to God. And it's sort of this relationship, this connection to something greater than yourself and to God. And eventually God made a way. Flew into New York in 1991, New York City, first time in the U.S. And that was wonderful. So the promise was essentially fulfilled. God did bring us here. Again, with life, the next